Lie Tu Diep, hello dear friends. Today we will come to the love story and work of Tu Diep and Jame present. On a quiet early morning, the sunlight filtered through the branches of trees, casting a warm glow over the small house nestled in a peaceful village. From inside, the cheerful song of birds could be heard, signaling the start of a new day. Tu Diep awoke early, the soft rays of light gently waking her up. She turned her head to look at James, still sound asleep beside her. Since their marriage, they have been living together in this house, a place not too large, but filled with precious memories. Tu Diep quietly got out of bed, trying not to disturb him. She couldn't help but feel how lucky she was to have James by her side. Although their life wasn't rich, the love and understanding they shared was the most valuable thing they had. Every day with him was a journey to explore and build a life full of happiness together. She stepped outside, the morning light bathing the garden in a soft glow. In their small garden, fruit trees had started to bear fruit, and flowers bloomed in vibrant colors. Tu Diep took joy in caring for this garden, a place where she and James had planted their favorite plants together. They harvested fruit, tended to animals, and built a peaceful space amidst nature. When Tu Diep reached the chicken coop, she found a new egg. The sight of this small reward for their hard work made her smile. It was a quiet moment of happiness, as though the whole world was welcoming her. She had grown used to waking up early each morning to take care of the house, the garden, and the animals, but today felt different. There was something in the air that made her feel today would be special. She walked back inside, where James had already woken up. He smiled at her as she entered. Tu Diep couldn't help but tell him about the new egg she had found. "I found a new egg today. It feels like it's going to be a lucky day," she said, her voice soft and cheerful. James looked at her with warmth in his eyes. He had always known that moments like these were the most important in their life together. "Thank you, love. I'll make breakfast for us. You can rest a little longer." With these words, he started preparing breakfast. They had become accustomed to sharing household chores, each doing their part, creating harmony in their relationship. Though they didn't have material wealth, they felt true love in every small action they took for each other. After breakfast, they worked together in the garden. Today, Tu Diep planned to harvest some fruit to sell. She remembered how an elderly woman in the village had given her a bag of lychees last time, and she wanted to return the favor. It was a small act, but one that meant a lot to Tu Diep. She had always felt the lack of family affection, so every time someone showed kindness, she felt deeply grateful. "Do you want me to ask the old lady if she needs some fruit?" James gently suggested. "Yeah, I'll ask her," Tu Diep replied with a smile. She truly cherished the kindness the elderly woman had shown her. They spent the rest of the morning working in the garden. Once they had harvested enough fruit, Tu Diep and James made their way to the elderly woman's house. She greeted them warmly, not only giving them more fruit, but also asking about their life. Tu Diep couldn't help but feel moved by the woman's kindness. "You two are too good to me. Please take these. I just want to help," the elderly woman said with a warm voice. Tu Diep thanked her. And they headed back home. Her heart was filled with gratitude, and she felt like she was truly part of a family, surrounded by love and care. That evening, after a long day of work, Tu Diep sat with James at the dinner table, discussing the day's events. Although life wasn't always easy, they found joy in every small moment. The joy came from their work in the fields, from sharing love, and from the companionship they had with each other. But just as they were beginning to feel that life was flowing peacefully, an unexpected event occurred. James received a call from his company, informing him that a rival group had started taking actions that might harm him and his family. It was news that made Tu Diep anxious. "James, is it something serious?" Tu Diep asked with concern. James looked at her, his expression determined but tinged with worry. "Don't worry, I'll handle it. We can't let these people ruin everything we've built." Tu Diep could feel the tension in the air, but she trusted James. He was strong and resilient, but she couldn't help but worry about him. The challenges they faced didn't just come from the outside world. They also came from things they couldn't foresee. To ease the tension, James suggested that they visit his mother. She was a loving woman who had always been there for them in difficult times. When they arrived, Tu Diep immediately felt comforted by her presence. James's mother embraced her tightly, reassuring her like a real mother would. "You are my daughter now." "Don't ever feel alone. I'll always be here by your side," she said kindly. Her comforting words eased Tu Diep's anxiety. She felt the strength of family love, and the trust between them was the one thing. thing that could help them overcome any challenge. Though life was still full of difficulties and uncertainties, Tu Diep and James knew that as long as they had each other, they could get through anything. For love and trust were the greatest strengths they possessed. Thank you everyone for watching. They will still face difficulties in the future. Let's wait and see.